Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be our Algebra Essentials lesson 3 on algebraic expressions. And so this is our homework review. This is going to be part 1. And so here we're going to be working with expressions. Now, what makes an expression versus an equation is that there's no equal sign. A lot of times, when we first learned this, we are replacing the variable with a number. The variable represents a number that's unknown for now, but we will, we can find out later on. It also could be a number of different values. That's why it's called a variable. It could change. Versus a constant, which is a number itself that's not going to change. So here, for example, in this here, the first expression, which is 2x squared plus 7, the constant would be just 7. There's no letter attached to it, though. The variable expression would be 2x squared. So here, the question for number 1, which of the following expressions has the greatest value when x equals 5? Show how you arrive at this answer, this choice in this case, and all you're doing is plugging in. So we're going to substitute in the 5. So 2 times 5 squared plus 7. And so in order operations, we apply the exponent. So we'll have 2 times 25 plus 7. We multiply the 2 and the 5 to get 50 plus 7, or 57. So this is one answer here. Now let's take a look at the second expression, x cubed minus 5 over 3. And so what I'd like to do, like as you noticed in the first one, I like substituting the number in for the variable with parentheses. Okay, and so here, in the fraction, we like to take care of the numerator first and then the denominator next, and then do a division. Because consider that the numerator is almost an expression by itself parenthesized. So you have to evaluate that first and then evaluate the denominator before you do any type of operations between them. And so 5 to the third power is going to be 125 minus 5. And that would be 125 over 5 is 120. Divided by 3 gives a total of 40. So we see here that this expression is going to be less than the first one. And finally, for the third expression, the 10x minus 2 or x minus 3, here we go. We'll do 10 times 5 minus 2 over 5 minus 3. And so 10 times 5 is 50 minus 2 over 5 minus 3 is just 2. And so we get 48 over 2, which gives a total of 24. So we find here that the expression that has the largest, the greatest value, will be the 2x squared plus 7 if x equals 5. Now, will this change? Will we use a different value? Yes, it will. Okay, it most definitely will change, depending upon what value we use. Now, what could we possibly use? Maybe if we use a number like, I don't know, decimal value, a number less than 1, between 1 and 0. Maybe that would work out, okay? Or maybe a negative value, that might work out as well too. So it all depends upon the expression though. So here, it depends upon what value you plug in. Okay, so let's now look at the next question, number 2. A zero of expression is a value of input variable that results in the expression having a value of 0. Catchy and appropriate name. Now what it means in this case is that your 0 is going to make the expression equal to 0. Okay, so is x equals 3 a 0 of the quadratic expression below? Well, let's replace and see. So we have 4 times 3 squared minus 8 times 3 minus 12. Let's take a look and evaluate this. So we have here 4 times 9. All right, and then 8 times 3 is 24 minus 12. 4 times 9 is 36. Minus 24 minus 12. And some of you might say, how come we can't subtract the 12 and the 24 minus 12 right away? Well, addition and subtraction must go from left to right. Okay, so that's the idea here. All right, so 36 minus 12 is equal to 12. And then if we take away another 12, we will get 0. And so the answer is yes. So let's put here, yes. Yes. X equals 3 is a 0 of the expression. Okay? And again, the reason is because we plugged it in and we found the value of the expression to be 0 when x equals to 3. Okay? All right, great. Number 3. Which of the following is the value of the rational expression 2 minus 3x squared over 6x plus 4 when x equals negative 2? So let's plug in, and so we'll have in this case 2 minus 3 times negative 2 squared over 6 times negative 2 plus 4. All right, so for the numerator, we're going to get 2 minus 3 times, now negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Okay, so we've taken the exponent there. On the denominator, 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. So our numerator now again, 2 minus 3 times 4, we do multiplication first. So negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. So we have 2 minus 12 over, now negative 12 plus 4 is going to be negative 8. So again, you treat each of the numerator separate and denominator separate before we do any type of evaluation. And so now we have positive 2 minus 12 gives us negative 10 over negative 8. If we simplify this, we will end up with a positive value because negative over negative is positive. So our simplified value, if we divide top and bottom by 2, will be 5 over 4. Now, we don't see that, but as a mixed number, this becomes 1 and 1/4. And that is going to be choice 3, okay? So there's temptation to want to cross things out from top and bottom, but we can only divide out factors, things that are multiplying each other. Especially when you have a numerical value for this, probably the better thing to do initially is to plug in and evaluate the numerator, then evaluate the denominator, and then after that, what we want to do is we want to then simplify the fraction if possible. Number 4. If x equals 5 and y equals negative 2, then x plus y over x squared minus y squared is. Now here's the thing. Again, we're going to substitute in. We have 2 different values. But again, not a problem here. So just remember which one's which. So our x is 5, so we have 5 plus the y value is negative 2 over 5 squared minus negative 2 squared. Okay, so our numerator becomes 5 plus negative 2 becomes 3. And our denominator, 5 squared is 25. Negative 2 squared is going to be positive 4, but we still have the subtraction in between. So we end up with 3 over, now 25 minus 4 is 21, which simplifies to 1 over 7, which is going to be choice 1. We will have a discussion later on in further lessons about when we have ability to multiply and divide as far as expressions go. Okay, and then that's going to come up soon. Very important as well too. So watch out for lesson 4. Okay, but we're still lesson 3, and let's do next question here. What is the value, the absolute value of x minus 10 minus the absolute value of x minus 3? The whole thing absolute value. So we'll be very careful with our work here. So we have the absolute value of 2 minus 10 minus the absolute value of 2 minus 3. Absolute value of the whole thing. So let me just stress this here. Okay, so first things first, we're going to take the 2 minus 10. So we're going to have the absolute value of negative 8 minus 2 minus 3 is the absolute value negative 1. And again, absolute value for all of this. Well, the absolute value is defined in this case. So absolute value of a number. So we'll say the absolute value of a number is its distance away from 0. And so here, the idea of negative 8, the absolute value of negative 8, how many spaces away is negative 8 from 0? Well, we're going to get, in this case, 8. So we have 8. And the absolute value of negative 1, well, negative 1 is 1 space away from 0. So the absolute value of negative 8 is 8, and the absolute value of negative 1 is 1. We still have subtraction. And don't forget, we're going to take the absolute value of all of this as well. And so we end up with the absolute value of 7. And again, absolute values doesn't mean I automatically make something positive. It is about parentheses. They are like parenthesis symbols. And so we must do the operation in the parentheses first and then evaluate. So the absolute value of 7, well, 7 is going to be 7 spaces away. That's why it's choice 1. Okay. Here we go. Now this is a different expression with a square root, but we are still going to treat the same way. And so for question number 6, if x equals 2, then the square root of 4x squared plus 2x plus 5 all over 10 has a value of what the following. So here we go. The square root of 4 times 2 squared plus 2 times 2 plus 5 all over 10. So that would be the square root of. Now, here we go. 2 squared is 4. So really going to be 4 times 4. Plus 2 times 2 is going to be 4. Plus 5. And so 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 4 plus 5 all over 10. Well, 16 plus 4 is 10, 20 actually, plus 5 is 25. So the square root of 25 over 10. Now, square roots really means in this case, what number to the second power is equal to that number inside. That number inside is called the radicand. Okay, we'll just talk about that more a little bit later on. And so what number to the second power equals 25, and that's equal to 5. So we get 5 over 10, which simplifies to 1/2. And so here, our answer is going to be choice 4. Okay. Now, all this can be done without a calculator because you have the ability to calculate all of these things, all right, by hand, all right, and something you want to kind of get used to because in the future, I will say that not necessarily on the Regents, but there will come a time when you take an assessment, some type of test where you will not be allowed to use a calculator, though. And so you have to sharpen your skills in situations like this, evaluating algebraic expressions. And so you want to be able to write things out. And so writing things out seems like a lot of work. And at first it does, but you are training yourself, you train your brain and be able to make this a normal thing, not to rush through, not rush to work, not to make, because when you rush to work, you're more likely to make errors in this case. So I've done that myself. So I want to stress that you guys take your time when we're practicing though. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this will be the end of part 1. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. We'd love to hear feedback from you guys. This is our part 1, and so we have a couple more questions coming up later on part 2. We'll be working through the entire Algebra 2 section, hopefully maybe getting through it by summertime. If you guys are watching this now and at the end of the school year for a lot of my geometry students, this is preparation for Algebra 2. Now, if you're not one of my students in class, hopefully this is helpful to you guys because I want to make sure that knowledge is so more important than the grade. And so you knowing this will be hopefully very useful to you when you take higher level math. Okay, thanks so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Please give the video a like if you can, if you found helpful, and subscribe to the channel and make sure to turn on notifications to know when new videos are going to be added to the channel. Thanks so much. Take care and be safe.